What's up everyone, I'm OBG for tastingskills.com and welcome to another video. Now today we're talking about High Wire Brewing. They're located in North Carolina. They make 52 different beers and I've put a link below so that you can go and check them out for yourself. They do have 5 facilities in North Carolina, well 4 in North Carolina and 1 located in Knoxville, Tennessee. Now they make a line that's called the 10W-40. They make 3 different beers and I was able to get all 3 of them. But before we get into the beers, I just want to remind everybody that if you want to taste like a pro and learn how to taste like a professional, then you can head over to tastingskills.com and put your name and email into the magical yellow box. It's on the first page and then I will send you my free guide to the fundamentals of tasting, so that you could learn how to taste like a pro. All right, so what about these beers? Well, let's start with the classic Imperial Stout that they make. Now, this 10W-40 Imperial Stout is brewed with coffee, chocolate, and vanilla. It has an ABV of 8% and an IBU of 20. The Horchata 10W-40 is also an Imperial Stout, like I said previously, and it's brewed with vanilla, almonds, cinnamon, lactose, and chocolate. This has an ABV of 8 and an IBU of 20. And finally, the German chocolate cupcake. This 10W-40 is, as usual, an Imperial Stout, and it's brewed with sweet cherries, coconut, vanilla, lactose, and chocolate. It has an ABV of 8 and an IBU of 20, of course. Now, all these beers are pretty much brewed in the same style. There is some subtle differences with ingredients that are added, and I think that they took the original Imperial Stout and then they moved on and tried to make an horchata with it, and then moved on and make a German cupcake with it. So let's taste them and see the big differences here, if there is any, starting with the Imperial Stout. Now, this Imperial Stout has the classic color of deep black brown with rich creamy bubbles that are very fine. On the nose, you get the classic coffee, mocha, dark roasted malt in precise layers. On the palate, it's everything that you would expect from a stout, with hints of coffee that do come through. The acidity is solid and the length has plenty of layers. This is light in style. It's not overpowering. It's not over too sweet. There's just a lot of acidity and it just drives all these beautiful flavors into this endless length of just maltiness, which I really, really love. Then when we get to the horchata, the color is beautiful, deep black brown with rich creamy bubble. Once again, on the nose, it's subtle, delicate. You get some notes of the cinnamon and of the vanilla that's kind of intermingled with dark roasted malt. On the palate, you do get that classic stout profile once again that's just lovely. The acidity drives this beer into the hints of cinnamon, vanilla, coconut, to rich layer of, once again, that stoutiness. It's not too powerful, but it just has great balance. The horchata is more complex and has little notes of cinnamon that are intermingled with the acidity. I mean, this has so much complexity on the palate. It's not overpowering. These beers are very delicate, very precise, which really caught me by surprise. I thought that this, the name horchata, basically big cinnamon and big vanilla, and here we go, right? It's a big beer, but they're not. That's not their style. And then finally, in tasting the German cupcake, the color is the same as the previous 2, that dark brown with rich bubble. On the nose, you get the cherries, of course, the chocolate, but it's very delicate on the nose. On the palate, very precise. I love this beer. You get the chocolate, the mocha, the cherries in layers upon layers. But the crazy part is that this beer isn't sweet. I mean, it is the sweetest out of all 3 of them, but it's far from being a sweet beer. They are all super, super dry in style. And that's really what took me back. Again, like I said previously with the horchata, I thought that these beers would just be like these big Imperial Stouts that are just over the top, rich and creamy and like out of control, but they're not. Highwire did a really good job on here. I'm very impressed. All right, so let's do a quick recap about them, starting with the Imperial Stout. The Imperial Stout is just lovely. It's an absolute buy. I really love this beer. It's kind of hard to find something this precise. Then we have the Horchata. The Horchata, again, is a continuation of the Imperial. Like I said previously, I think that this beer has by far the most complexity on the palate. And then finally, the German Cupcake. Now, the German Cupcake just has the best nose out of all three of them. The cherries really come through on, and it just has a lot of layers. For me, all of these beers are buys. I would actually seek them out, and if you're in North Carolina, then you should definitely go and visit one of their breweries. They're just really good. This is such precise brewing. It's very fun to taste side by side. And I mean, I know that there's only 3 beers, but in the end, they're just drinkers. They're just so good. All right, and as usual, that's gonna do it for me. I'm OBG for tastingskills.com. And remember, like I said at the start of the show, if you wanna learn how to taste like a pro, head over to tastingskills.com and I will give you my free guide to the fundamentals of tasting. Otherwise, please don't forget to smash that like button. Comment below if you've had any of their other beers, because I would love to get my hands on any of their stuff. I'm really impressed with this line of beer. Other than that, please remember, my friend, stay sober. Peace.